I've been privy to Washington because I co-founded a high school,
The Duke Ellington
the
School of
Duke
the Arts.
Ellington School of the Arts. And I started working on it when I was still in college. And it had its first full 4-year graduating class right after I graduated from law school. So,
You founded DC Public High School for the Arts while you were in college and law school.
yeah. When I was in college, okay, I co-chaired the first Black Cultural Festival at GW. That was my first real serious foray into the city because I decided that that cultural weekend I wanted to bring in as much of the city as possible into GW. So I got a lot of highly achieved Black folks to come. And I also got a lot of public school kids to come from like Ward 7 and 8 because I wanted them to be able to mingle with Black folks who had achieved a lot so that they could see themselves, could see them future selves, could see their future selves. A lot of the kids performed. And towards the end of the festival, late Sunday afternoon, I asked, I said to Mike Malone, it is really terrible. Those kids aren't trained. You know, look at them, there's some real talent there, but there's no training, which is something I just knew. And he said, you're right, why don't you start a school? And it was like an Audie Murphy and what's her name moment. What's that woman, you know, when they were young, they were in these movies together.
Oh, right.
Audie Murphy. And so, but
Right.
anyway, Mike said, why don't you start a school? And I said, okay, I will.
My goodness.
And that evening, I called my dad, okay, and told him that I thought what I wanted to do was build a high school in Washington that would teach the arts. And, you know, we talked about it, and my dad told me, listen, it's okay if you sound crazy while you're talking to me, but you can't let you know other people know that. And what you need to do is build this block by block, and you have to make each block so good that by the time you get to the last one, no one will be able to tell you no. So the first thing, I wrote a proposal for a summer camp. I took it to the president the next day. He says, yes, but we'll let you use space here, you know, and, you know, and other tools like finances and what have you. He said to me, but you have to raise the money. It's like, I've never, you know, raised money from anybody except my father. I said, can you help? He said, I'll introduce you to one person, and then you take it from there. That summer, before that summer, I raised $90,000, and
Excuse
we
me.
had
You just said that you raised $90,000. In what year was this?
This was 1967, I think.
$90,000 in 1967.
I think it was 67. It could have been
And-
68.
and-
Pretty sure it was 67.
And
It was 67.
this fundraising achievement was accomplished by a woman who had never raised money before while she was an undergraduate.
But Lloyd Elliott did introduce me to one person, and I got $30,000 grant from the Strong Foundation. And the Strong Foundation was headed by Henry Strong. He said, I'll give you $30,000, but you have to match it. You know, and I went, every time I met someone, I would ask them if they could introduce me to one other person who could do more or the same That's something that I carried through most of my life.
This is ingenious. You realize this?
I, in growing up in Mobile, Alabama, I've talked about this before, but you really learn that you need a strategy to get through the day. And I mean, at an early age, I learned that. And so I think that caused me, when I was older, when I was in college, to recognize things faster than maybe some of my peers did.
Mm-hmm. We have heard from a number of sources that for Washington to bloom, mm-hmm. Its arts scene must continue to grow. Mm-hmm. Any comment?
I think that's very true, and I was for 10 years the chairman of the DC Arts Commission.
Okay.
And when I was chairman, a long time ago, when I was chairman, I partnered with Mort Zuckerman to do a look and a calculation of the economic contributions made to the city by the arts, okay? And the cost of the arts to the city, and it's completely imbalanced. The contribution of the arts to the city is huge. I think this mayor understands it. I think people are beginning to understand that they need to put more money into Duke Ellington if we are going to have, and remain the finest and the best, because the more you put kids, through Duke Ellington, they'll come back and feed the city. And what was your question?
Do the arts need to grow so that Washington, D.C. can claim the mantle of Paris on the Potomac?
Yes, the arts need to grow. But we need to grow in a way that gives us Manhattan, okay, and also gives us Harlem, and also gives us Brooklyn, and also gives us the Bronx and Queens. Our city should, and we've got enough words for it, but our city should be patterned as such with all of these different textures. And I think that also, I think this is very important, I think that will cause DC to grow more. It will bring people here. Now, GW has a chance to do this, having purchased the Corcoran and, and the National Gallery, which has put very little into the city, will hopefully become, and I see little signs of it, but will become more, outward looking, and will begin to say to the Duke Ellington School of the Arts, what may we do for you? Those things are really important, and the energy that can be built, you can hear it sizzling between these institutions and that school and those kids is amazing. It could be. I really hear it.
Peggy Cooper Cafritz, we need to continue this conversation. I feel like we're just getting started. I hope that you'll let us do that sometime.
Sure, when you start your television show.
Thank you.